Welcome back. What's optimal for me is going to be different to what's optimal for you,
I could ring that bell right now.
right? Like, and that's, I think that we're forgetting, or that is being forgotten in the fitness industry, or especially like in bodybuilding circles, right? Is we get coaches nowadays who are touting certain exercises being optimal, but if you're, let's say, a 250 pound, let's say, over 100 kilo guy coach, and you're prescribing, you're prescribing your 70 kilo client to do cable pull downs instead of pull ups, I just can't see how that is optimal for that client. That exercise might be optimal for you because you can't get the volume of work necessary at 100 plus kg to get enough stimulus through pull-ups. But your client at 70 kg can definitely get more out of pull-ups than they ever will out of doing a cable pull down.
Yeah, it's nail on the head. 100%.
I think we tend to forget sometimes as coaches that, we sometimes can tout what we're doing now as the best and forget what we did all those years ago at the very beginning. And to be honest, that's where the foundations were really built.
I legitimately could ring that bell now. It's just spot on. And I think that it's one of those things that, like, you use the word optimal in any situation, and like we all want to be training optimally. We want our nutrition to be optimal. We want our training to be optimal. The time in the gym is minimal. We know that. So of course we want that time to be optimal. But yeah, I can't agree anymore with what you're saying. I'm now seeing young guys in the gym who are mimicking and copying their favourite IFBB men's physique guy, who, exactly as you just said, is 10 years deep into their career. They're on a much higher level of everything. They are that much further down the line that they can make use of these, whatever you want to class them, again, optimal methods and these perfect ways of lining things up exactly right, where it's going to be a struggle to just continually overload. It's just not the case for the youngster, the newcomer, the person who's just starting out. Stick to the basics. They work. Stick to the basics and load them up. Learn how to train hard, because I feel like that's the thing that's now being bypassed, and I think that's where the order's gone wrong. Yeah. The first primary thing you need to do is learn to train hard.
Yeah. Learn the basics, isn't it?
Learn the basics.
Like, I feel like the cable stack has all, and like with back training, like, yes, I'm a firm believer that machines are better at a certain point, but there is no doubt that at some point, until you're really strong enough, and exercises like a bent over row or pull-ups become that difficult for you to, one, perform, and two, to recover from, because they're being coupled alongside squats or some kind of deadlift variation within the same week, until you get to a stage where the residual fatigue from those exercises is hindering your other lifts on other days, then there's no reason why you shouldn't be prioritizing those, or any beginner or general population client shouldn't be prioritizing those in favor of a cable stack.
Yeah, agreed. Until it becomes a fatigue issue, until it becomes a recovery issue. My early days of training, and I think this is where the anecdotal side needs to come in, because EMG studies and research papers, listen, I will never argue with data is useful, but what I don't like is when data is just taken as like, that is the single best way, so then that's the end of that. The first, I want to say 10 years of my own training, my two best body parts were my back and my legs. All I did was squat, RDL, or for these muscle parts, squat, deadlift, RDL, pull up, bent over barbell row. That was it. There wasn't a machine in sight.
There's proof in the pudding, isn't there? And I think until we see a physique which is built solely on cables,
I'm waiting for it.
Cable pull downs, the jury's out, and I just don't see it ever happening. The guys that are using the cable stack now prioritize the barbells and the dumbbells and the pull-up bar way before, up until this point. So for them, it makes sense. But for the guy starting out, if you're starting on cables and thinking that you're going to progress through your lifting career and grow a serious amount of tissue, I think you're going to be, people are going to be left bitterly disappointed. So,
amen.
What is optimal?